And remember this, one of the reasons that people criticize what you do is because they don't feel like they can do it, and your success makes them uncomfortable. So you're going to live your life by what somebody else thinks. You're going to make decisions based on what somebody else thinks you ought to do, you ought to be, you ought to have, you ought to own, or you ought not to own, you ought not to have, and you ought not to be. You have to ignore that. God created you with a lifetime of awesome opportunity. And the difference is this, that the difference is the people who take advantage of their opportunity. And there are people who take advantage of their opportunity who are handicapped in some ways physically, and yet isn't it amazing how they outdo all the rest of us? And there are people who come from nowhere with almost no education, and they invent things that amaze people who are supposed to be so intelligent. Listen, you can't estimate what God can do in somebody else's life. So don't try to estimate what he can do in your life. Surrender your life to him and watch him work. You're living in a day of awesome opportunity. You say, well, but I lost my job and I lost my house and I lost my car. I'm sure that is terrible, but that doesn't mean that you're finished.